Okay, so today I'm going to make a little video about making an FXML controller, or like kind of connecting FXML and a controller to make a new scene. Because as we know, when we make a new FXML project, JavaFX FXML project in Netbeans, it kind of creates these two windows already. We can click back and forth, that's great. But what you're probably going to need to be able to do for your code is to develop another scene that we can then access. And that's going to require us to have a FXML to handle like the layout of the scene, and then also the controller to handle whatever's going to actually happen on the scene. So we need to go through these 4 tasks, and all these 4, it might seem like a lot, but it's actually really simple tasks. And the first thing that we need to do is create a controller in Netbeans. So I'll just walk you through each one of these. Now, in this program that I'm developing, and this maybe I'll even include this in the playlist, I am registering students. So I have a home page where I'm going to register students. I've handled that already. And now my secondary button I need to open up to like show students, to actually display the students that have been accepted or whatever they are. So in order to do that, I need to make a new FXML to handle the third scene, and I also need to handle a new controller, create a new controller to handle that as well. So the controller is just, we can add a new Java class, clicking in this folder. So click at the folder with all our Java primary control, all this stuff is already in. Right click, new Java class. And I'm going to say show students controller. Now, the one really important thing here to note, or just I could see maybe having some uncertainty, is do I need to have controller in here? No. Actually, the name of the class doesn't matter at all. I'm only calling it controller because I want it to, just so when I organize my files later, so I know exactly, oh, these are all the controller files, but it has nothing to do with how the code actually runs, it's just organization. Alright, so here we go, and now we are in show students controller. Let's go into primary controller. We're going to import these 2 things. So these 2 are just like handling this little IO exception thing, and then handling like being able to do the tags. Not really a big deal, but let's make sure we include that. Okay, and that's it. So we have our first new controller class. So I'm just going to save this, and then if we go back to our list, we created the controller in Netbeans. Now we need to create a new FXML in Scene Builder. So if we go down to here, I'm going to do new scene. Yeah, it can just be, I don't know, I'm just going to throw border paint on there. And I think that's about all I need. I can do obviously more stuff, but not important for this. So, alright, what we need to do here, we need to, we're going to create a new FXML file, and then we're going to move that FXML file into Netbeans. So let's see, which one I think I'm using this one. So I'll do File, Save. I'm going to save. I have a folder already for Scene Builder. And I'm going to call this like showing students style, because that's really like, this is all about like the style of the page, so I'm just going to call that, yeah, call it like that. You call it, again, you can call the FXML whatever you want. Let's save that, and then what we need to do is we want to, we're going to our documents, we're going to go into our scene builder, and we're going to find this FXML file. Okay, so we have that now. So we've already saved it, we've created it, created the controller, created the FXML. Now we just need to move the FXML file to the Netbeans project. Super easy. It might sound hard, but it's actually super duper easy. All we have to do is find where the FXML files are saved down here, get our new FXML file from here, and drag it over here. So drag it into maybe drag it into the folder. There we go. Okay, and so that's really it. That's almost done. The last part is actually probably the hardest of all these, and we just need to make sure that we connect these 2 together. So I'm going to close out of these, so I make sure I'm editing the right thing. Close all these scene builders. Now you notice, like, okay, showing student style is now located inside of our project. Dragging and dropping, easy. Now we open it up here. And what we need to do is in our document down here, we need to access the controller. So we need to set up, like, maybe again, like make that connection between here's the FXML, and here is the controller that's going to handle any of the actions. So we go into here and click, and so it's going to have by default these 2, and I'm not sure if there's a way to get this to, I don't know why the other one doesn't show up by default. I was trying to look into that, but I couldn't find any good explanation. No big deal though, so I'm just going to choose this. All we need to do is just replace this primary controller thing with the name of the actual controller that we want. So I can delete all that. I might show back up. Alright, so what I need to do, oh my goodness, good to know. Great. We're going to go into here. Let's open up the showing students controller thing. I already have it open. Let me just copy this, and then I'm going to paste it right here on the end. Okay, and now we should have a connection between those two. Let's make sure we save this so it actually connects, and then we go back into here and run this, and let's see how we're doing. We'll need to actually, I might pause this for a second. I'll just add some actual functionality to this. So I was trying to figure out kind of what went wrong there. And so yeah, actually, so what happened as I run this thing, actually let me just undelete this one thing. We run it, it opens up, everything looks good, register students will work fine, return to menu works fine. We hit view students, crashes out. So I left this in here because I want to go through like the actual error. And what I had done before, and I forgot to change it, was what's like in my primary controller, so handling the main screen. And again, might be good to rename this, like instead of primary main screen or login screen controller would probably be good here. Yeah, so what I had set here was from an old previous build. I had set it where we are going to change the window to thirds, use the FXML third scene, but actually my FXML is not called third scene anymore. It's actually called showing student style. So that's what's causing the error here. So if I just change this, and I wonder if I can, you know what? Because I like to copy and paste so I don't have to worry about not capitalizing something or doing something silly. Can I grab the name from here somewhere? Oh, it's not showing anything. Should be somewhere where I could grab the name from so I don't have to deal with this. But we'll do showing students style. Okay, it looks good. Hopefully that works. File save. Now let's do our run. Let's see how we do on this one. I think this should work. We've updated this, so it's actually going to do something. Yeah, great. And now we're going to get this screen. There's nothing on the screen, but we have made a connection. So I think I'm going to pause this video, and I'll do one last thing where I'm going to just add a button on here. I think I'll just add a button that's going to return back to the home page, and that'll just be our. I'll type up the code, and then I'll explain to you what I did. Okay, so I got this up and running. Let's hit play on this, and then so I'll show you how it works, and then I'll show you that it works, and then I'll go through and explain what I did. So really simply, I just added in a view. The view students is going to open up. This before was blank. Now I've added this return to main. Click on that, and it returns back to the main screen. So in that way, our code is complete. We've added a new scene. Obviously there's a lot of other stuff to do there, but we can make the connection, go to one, do some actions, and return. So that should be proof that this is kind of working. All I needed to do in here was I needed to go into showing student style. Remember, I just add a button, dragged a button in here. I grabbed the button, and then I just changed the on action. And I gave it a method name in here. And then I go back to my code. So, okay, the FXML is done. I've identified what action I want to have on there, what method I'm going to run. Go into here, and I write this out. And so what I did for this was I just popped over to like primary controller, or maybe it looks like I got secondary controller. And I knew this was like this is the code that kind of worked, this app.setRoot. So I just copied this, pasted it in here. And the only difference I made, actually I didn't even need to make a difference here, because I'm still returning this to primary. Like I need to load up this primary FXML to return back to that original scene. Only difference, and I didn't make this, let me see. I'll hit run here. Maybe you can catch the error, you can pause. Hit view. Oh, it's giving me a crash. And you can see here it's giving me error resolving action on home, or return home. Yeah, always good to kind of look at these caused by things. So, can you figure out what error I made? Let me show this, let me pop this up. You can take a think about what error I made. Pause it if you want. Alright, so the error that I made though is that this action, return home, does not match the action here. So I could just change this, or I could just go over here and change this, right? I had return home in one. It was so in the code it's like, well, what method are you talking about? There's no return home thing. I'm going to crash on you. So we finished that, save, and now we can run this again. I think I might have too many of these open. Just close all these. And we go back into registrar, I guess, run this. And now it's back to working. Turn home, good. Okay, so yeah, just make sure some of the stuff, copy and paste. Like, copy and paste is your friend, and trying to use some of these more advanced techniques that maybe we don't want to really dive too deep into. Not that it's that advanced, but we just don't need to worry about it. Okay, so I hope that helps. We started from scratch. We created a new window. We created the FXML for the window. We connected it to a controller, and then we just programmed a short little action for it. So I hope that's helpful, and I think it should be important for your work.